All right, let's talk Alabama Crimson Tide. This is a make or break year for Coach Kalen DeBoer. Look, we obviously get it. 1 year in, disappointing finish to the season, but we need to see improvement. We need to see development. It's been a really good job in the recruiting world. A lot of people thought Alabama would fall off, but they've done a great job. It's also been a great job in the transfer world by Kalen DeBoer and his staff as well. And there's one new Alabama Crimson Tide playmaker that has really got some impressive support behind the scenes for him. It looks like the Crimson Tide may have picked up a huge steal here in the transfer portal. We'll get into that in just a second. But first, I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, the Alabama Crimson Tide need to improve in 2025 versus their performance in 2024, which means they're going to have more playmakers step up. And like I said in the opening, they've done a great job adding guys to the transfer portal and the recruiting game. And there's one transfer in particular, when you look at recent comments from his former teammates, guys that have no reason whatsoever to say good things about him, except if they're true, should make Alabama fans really excited. Let's pull up this report here, courtesy of Bama Hammer. University of Miami Hurricanes transfer student athlete Isaiah Horton is set to make an immediate impact for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Former Miami wide receiver Xavier Restrepo told reporters at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama, he's a one-on-one nightmare. Restrepo said, matchup nightmare. He's a great guy off the field as well. He's created some really good habits just watching me and Cam Ward this past year. The guy's dangerous. He knows football, has great hands, great size, and he has deceptive speed. Former Hurricane tight end Elijah Arroyo, stated, "That's my guy. They're getting a dog. He's a hard worker. He's going to put his head down and do what he has to do to succeed on the field." Again, these two former teammates of Horton have no reason to come out and say these positive things, except unless they're true, which is obviously a great sign for Alabama. They need a wide receiver opposite Ryan Williams, and they got one, it seems, in Horton. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on all of this. But first, Alabama fans, in the comment section below, of all the new transfer portal additions this offseason, who's the one guy you think will have the biggest impact for the Tide in 2025? Is it Horton? Is it somebody else? Let us know which transfer will have the biggest year in 2025 for Alabama. Put them in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this latest news out of Alabama?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is big for Alabama, but I want to talk about the player himself first. Just talking about Horton, like you said, being on these guys, Xavier Restrepo, he's going to go to the NFL. He's going to be a great receiver in the NFL. He's a great receiver at Miami in his own right. He's got a lot of stuff he's thinking on, a lot of stuff he's dealing on. We're talking about a young player in Horton who really had his first year with Miami last year, and he takes the time to come in and talk about he says a lot. He doesn't just come out and say, man, the guy's really great. I think he has great work ethic. They got a good player. He comes on and says, about an entire paragraph and a half of just everything he loves about the guy, goes on and on and on. And it's not just him, it's the tight end, and also is too long to fit, but there's also an offensive lineman who comes out, says words about him as well. When you have three players on your team coming in to talk about you as a person and as a player, I think this shows this guy's going to make a major impact for Alabama. Because not only is he a fantastic player, he's a good culture guy, a good locker room guy. Everybody seems to like him. I think that goes really far. I don't think people give that enough credit. When you get a guy, can he come in and make an impact on people? Well, he made an impact on three Miami players here as well. So I think this is a really great get for Kalen DeBoer. Like you said, this is a make or break season for DeBoer. He's got to get impact on the team. He has to bring in, you can bring in players. You can bring in all kinds of transfer portal guys. But if they're not going to come in and make an immediate impact on this team for this season, what are you doing? Because this is the season that counts. This is the make or break year. You look at a guy like Keelan Russell, that's a big impact guy. You look at a guy like some of these other big 5-star recruits they got, those are ones. But Isaiah Horton, I think this is the biggest impact player that they have brought in. I think this is going to be a huge get for Alabama. I think we're going to see, like you said, opposite Ryan Williams, a true playmaker, a star on Alabama that's going to help set them over the edge and give them better results in 2025.
One of the things that's really important and kind of forgotten when it comes to transfer success is you got to have mature people, good teammates, good culture guys, right? Because if you're taking a player from one program and moving to another, we kind of forget how hard of that is as a culture shock for the individual player, right? He's been in one program, one city, one school, one set of teammates for an X amount of time, right? And now has to change his entire life, go out to a different town, a different school, different city, different program, different teammates, different coaches, completely different vibe shift. So it takes a player that's A, mature enough to handle that, B, has the mental acuity to handle that, and is C, willing to work hard enough and build that new relationship after spending years potentially working on prior relationships. And Horton, by all accounts, seems to be perfectly suited to do just that. People think of transfers sometimes like the way we think of free agents in the NFL, and it's a good comparison, and we make that analogy on the show. But it's a little bit different because free agents in the NFL, 9 times out of 10, you're dealing with someone who is at least 25, 26, 27. They're grown up. They usually bought a house or two, right? They've been away from college from 3, 4, 5 years at that point. They've gone through life events, right? They're married, they have kids, they go all through this different stuff. Anyone can relate. Their mental state at 20 versus 27, I personally can speak to this, was night and day. It's a completely different challenge. If you would have told me at 20 to move across the country for work or something like that, I said, what? Now I've done that a couple times at this point in my 30s, right? It's just something, and everyone's done that, right? As you get older, you get more comfortable with different challenging environments. Horton or any other transfer, this is a big event to pick up your entire life and transfer to a new program. A lot of kids can't handle it. They lack one of the three traits I mentioned before. Horton has all of those three traits in spades based on this report. I think that means he's perfectly suited to come in and have a big impact for this Alabama offense because he has the physical tools, right? 6'4", 200 pounds, great hands, great frame, 50 plus catches last year on a really good Miami offense. I'm expecting him to have a big time season right out the get go for Alabama in 2025. It won't take him, won't take him an entire season to get into rhythm. It won't take him an entire season to figure out the offense. He's already doing it now because this is the kind of guy Horton is. This was a massive steal and a great pickup for Alabama.